Law and order is one of Trump's most valuable assets as a political candidate, and on Tuesday night, it was stripped away from him by ABC's David Muir. One of many outrageous slights against Trump during a 2-hour debate with Kamala Harris and two moderators who played the role of her surrogates. Here was the moment, one of 5 fact checks against Trump that night. This one was one of 2 fact checks that were actually false.
Crime here is up and through the roof, despite their fraudulent statements that they made.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country.
Moments like that are designed to give Americans a false sense of peace and contentment. Everything is fine, says David Muir. There's no crime issue. It's a right-wing conspiracy theory from those crazy J6 MAGA Republicans. This next election will be largely decided on the issue of crime and quality of life. ABC News knew exactly what it was doing, giving that fake stat. And today, that unforgivable lie, that fake fact check, was smashed into 1,000 pieces. The Washington Times did some reporting on new data from our own government that proves ABC News lied on Tuesday night. In 2023, 22.5 of every 1,000 Americans reported being the victim of a violent crime. That's a lot of people. And 102.2 of every 1,000 are reporting property crime being done to them. That's about the same numbers as 2022. Both years somehow are even higher than 2020, when the murder rate skyrocketed by the highest rate ever recorded in this country. So it got awful in 2020, and it's gotten worse and worse and worse since then. 2020 was the year Democrats told Americans that cops were evil and sat back with the popcorn as the country burned down, destabilizing our nation to oust Trump from the White House, a move that in the end worked. It is insane enough that crime is somehow worse in 2022 and 2023 than it was in 2020 during that terrible summer. But in truth, it's actually even worse than the numbers suggest for the last couple of years. That report suggesting Americans aren't reporting some of the most common crimes to police as often. Just 44% of self-reported robbery victims said they filed a police report last year. That is down substantially from 64% in 2022. So there's so much crime, people are not even bothering to report it to police because they know that nothing's going to happen. Police are overwhelmed. With that, you start to imagine what the real crime numbers are and just how much they've exploded further since Kamala Harris and Joe Biden got in the White House. Trump hammered all of this today at his golf club in Los Angeles.
Now, anybody that says it's coming down, when you look at all of the migrant crime and all of the other crime, and this doesn't even include most of the migrant crime. He said that the FBI, and he didn't know this, I guess, at the time, he probably did, but the numbers and the cities that weren't included in those numbers were Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Oakland, New Orleans, and many others of similar crime numbers. In other words, so they didn't include the worst crime numbers in the country.
Some of the most dangerous cities in the country, not in the data. ABC News knew that. They knew that. They know that. Trump feeding Americans the truth that everybody can feel. Our quality of life is being decimated. Our safety is being decimated. They're just counting on getting enough votes from the 900 or so people out of every 1,000 that aren't the victims of crime. And this all while the media calls Trump a pathological liar and tells you you're crazy if you don't think this country is safe.
Crime has decreased under Biden-Harris administration.
Crime is down in this country. New data from the FBI shows the rate continues to drop off dramatically.
Violent crime has plunged to its lowest ever in almost 50 years.
New FBI data out this week finds crime in the U.S. declined significantly.
Crime, in fact, the rate is lower now than when Donald Trump was in office.
They're so stupid, and they don't even care. You're being systematically lied to about the biggest issues that this country faces. They're doing this all over. It is a government desperate to hold on to power as they decimate your quality of life. There will be no correction by ABC News for what they did to Trump during that debate. We're witnessing the establishment's desperation to keep a vice grip on power in this country while they slowly rip it apart. Today, Trump highlighted the collapse of California as a warning for what's coming for the rest of our country if we put Kamala Harris into the White House as the commander-in-chief. Over the past several months, we've watched Gavin Newsom work vigorously to neutralize the threat of using California against Kamala Harris. Remember like a month or two ago when he was out picking up trash on the side of highways? And everybody wondered, what the hell is Gavin Newsom doing? Why does he suddenly care now? Oh. Sending crews to shut down homeless encampments. And just this week, actually, signing a bill to bring back harsh penalties for smash and grab robberies. Gavin, are you feeling okay? Harsher sentences for those who cause significant property damage while stealing. All this happening just yesterday. Where was this the past 4 years? Oh, well, it was nowhere because they only care about your quality of life right before they need your vote. You have every right to despise these people. They are despicable. Another example of their evil was the quiet cancellation of what was called Operation Legend. It's a program that Trump started after a 4-year-old boy was shot and killed in his bed by a stray bullet in Kansas City several years ago. It was described as a sustained, systematic, and coordinated law enforcement initiative across all federal law enforcement agencies, working in conjunction with state and local law enforcement officials to fight the sudden surge of violent crime beginning in Kansas City, where that young boy was killed in his bed. The operation was a huge success. More than 6,000 arrests of violent criminals were made. And the moment Joe Biden got into power, early 2021, he very quietly canceled that program along with Kamala Harris. You wonder how many inner-city black lives Operation Legend would have saved had Joe Biden and Kamala Harris just left it in place.